You're listening to The Artist Athlete, episode 137. This podcast is dedicated to Circus. It's a place for professionals in the industry to share their stories, viewpoints, and information, and a place for outsiders to get a sneak peek into this world. Hey, friends, fans, and foes. I'm Shannon McKenna, and I'm the host of the Artist Athlete podcast. The topic of this week's podcast and the guest I'm having on are related to a festival that happens in Basel, Switzerland every year. It's not like Coachella, like that kind of festival. It's a circus festival, and it's super cool, and I'm going to be posting and doing coverage on it on patreon.com/theartistathlete. Patreons give small amounts of money every month to help this podcast succeed. And in thanks for their generous contributions, I make little mini episodes. I make content that is especially for them. So if you want to learn more about what it's really like to be at one of these festivals, not as a performer, okay, I'm not 27, so I can't be performing in it. But if you really want to know what this kind of thing is like, what the experience is, and other things I'm going to be doing there, some super cool stuff, go to patreon.com/theartistathlete and sign up to give today. Again, patreon.com/theartistathlete. My guest today is Nadja Hauser. Nadja turned her passion into her profession 17 years ago. She's an independent event manager, show and TV producer, director and lecturer in event management, and the founder, artistic director, and heart and soul of Switzerland's largest circus festival, Youngstage. In 2016, she was awarded the Basler Stern for her internationally recognized work. In 2018, she was voted one of the 100 most successful women in business in Switzerland in the field of culture, which we love to see. In 2020, she was a jury member at the Art Academy Code Arts in Rotterdam and at the biggest circus festival in the world, Cirque du Soleil, in Paris. Under her direction, the International Circus Festival Youngstage has become one of the world's most important platforms for young professional artists within just a few years and is one of the top events in the Basel event calendar. Every year, 600 young artists from 60 nations apply to participate in Youngstage, and she has been successfully working for many years to ensure that contemporary circus is recognized and promoted accordingly in Switzerland. During the festival in May, Nadja leads a team of about 60 people and about 50 to 80 artists from all over the world. Nadja's motto continues to be, with passion, enthusiasm, and real commitment, you can do almost anything in life. Here's my interview with Nadja Hauser. Well, Nadja Hauser, welcome to the Artist Athlete podcast. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So can you start by explaining to the audience who you are and what you do?
Yes, I am the festival director and the artistic director of the International Circus Festival Youngstage, which will happen in just a few weeks for the 30th time here in Basel. And I'm also an event manager, a show producer. I do produce TV shows. I do show direction. And yeah, I just live in this field and work in this field also.
Magical. I was reading in your bio, it says that you started out as a physio. You were a physical therapist.
Yeah, that's true.
What happened?
So actually, it's correct, but also not correct, because I spent my youth in a youth circus. I did a lot of acrobatics and aerial stuff and everything. So when I was very young, so a long time ago. And then this was my great passion. I also then trained the kids and directed the shows and everything in this youth circus. And then I had an accident because I did a salto from the trapeze and I broke a ligament in my knee. And that's how I got to know the profession of the physios. So, and then for me, I had a very long time, I had to take physiotherapy. So, and then I got attracted by this profession. And yeah, I did an education first as a kind of normal physio. And then I also did sports physio, yes, for a few years. It was another education after the prior education, yeah.
And then when did you make the leap to events management? Like how did that happen? Because
Yeah,
there's a very like right like they're all in the
yeah,
same
yeah, yeah,
world, right? Like a physio takes
yeah,
care of circus artists and
yeah.
has that performance, but it's a very different day-to-day
It
education
is,
than
yeah.
and
Actually, it
experience than
happened
events
by
management.
coincidence. So I got a chance from an advertising agency. They wanted to start also with an event part in the event agency. And I got a chance to jump in there. I had no plan from nothing how to. Of course, I had my experience in the youth circus before, but I absolutely hadn't have any experience in event management, so in professional event management. But I knew from the first day that I just love it. It took me in and I never stopped again. And then I first worked a few years in this agency. And then we had to stop there with the event management or the event part in this agency. And then I started my own agency, which was just me. Yeah.
Wow.
But in the agency before we also started, the first time of the festival was during my agency time. But after I took it with me and then we started it kind of restarted it again.
Gotcha. I want to ask more specifically about the festival, but before I do that, what is events management? Like, what does that mean? What are the jobs and roles, and like, how does that work? Because I think for a lot of performers, we see the work from events management, we see it very late in the process, right? We get cast and then we come in, we do our acts or our performances, and we have the experience of it. But like,
Oh,
what does it mean to
yeah.
manage the whole event?
That is a very good question. I think it's the first time that I have to answer this, but I can try. So for me, the event management it's a very wide field of. I mean,
Yeah.
no event is similar to another event, but normally event management, when we speak about corporate event, there is one day there is a client that asks you, listen, we plan an event, can you help us? And then it's a lot of Q&A. What do you want to do? Where do you want to do it? Who are the guests?
What is an example of like a client that you would get? Like who reaches out to you for these
For
kinds of events?
example, a bank that has a kind of an
Okay.
anniversary, or it's another
Okay.
company that has the annual event for their employees, like a big Christmas
Mhm.
event, or
Like the
yeah,
appreciation parties,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. I did a lot of such events. And then you start with a concept. You have to, what I think is very interesting also is you get to know the client and yeah, how they work, what is important for them, what the aims do they have, how is
Mhm.
they're all different. And as an event manager, you have to understand in details what their aim is for the with this event. And this is the interesting part, I think, because you can't copy
Mm.
paste one event from a client to another event for another client. Of course there are similar procedures and everything, but it's always a special concept, always, for each and every event and each and every client. It's different. You start with searching for a location, you start doing a concept and you get feedback and you have to do another concept and you come with the offers for
Sure.
artists and so and but what is always an important part is there is a budget, a fixed budget normally. And as an event manager, if you are in charge of the whole event, you have to assure it that this budget will work. So because it's the client that pays for it, and you have it's a lot about offers and cost management and everything. Yeah.
Does the event manager also, are they responsible for recruiting talent, finding, set design,
Of
costume,
course.
like all of
Yeah.
these different, and how do you build your database of people?
I can't remember how I started this, but it came over the years. So you know exactly, oh, I ask this technical company for this, or a set design for this, or a decoration company, or yeah, it's a lot of partners that you have to involve, a catering, etc. So and in the end you're there and you're just the person that has to coordinate all of them, and also with the artists and musicians or comedians that maybe work on such events. This network came over the years, so I know usually
Mhm.
exactly what would fit, and I can ask them. And
And is that how one of the reasons the Youngstage Festival started, as a way to find talent?
no, actually, it started because of another reason. So during my time at the youth circus, we did two European festivals for other, and we invited other youth circuses. So other young artists, teenagers, kids that did circus as a hobby. And we just had this experience that this is a very, very nice community, also
Mhm.
between the kids. And then we also got invited to other festivals in Germany, for example. And I can't remember how we realized that Switzerland has a long circus tradition, but there is no festival for young professionals that works as a network platform or a job platform. And then we just had the idea to start this. We were so crazy enough one day that we just did it. And yeah, that's actually how it started. And also, I think, I mean, we founded the festival or the association behind it in 2006. Of course, contemporary circus, nouveau cirque existed then already, but not in a way like today. But I think we
Mhm.
realized that there is a development coming from this performing art, and we wanted to give it a platform. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you give really quickly? I know this is contested, but I'm always interested in people's individual definitions of, like, what is contemporary circus versus like a circus Monty, or
Mm.
these other kinds of circuses.
Wow. Yeah.
I know,
Very. Yeah.
loaded
We could
questions here.
discuss it for a week, I guess. But no. I mean,
Sure.
it's a subject that, yeah, I like to speak about. So for me, I don't like to. Of course, I also used just a minute ago the word contemporary circus, but I don't like to divide circus in these two groups. So that there is the traditional circus that is maybe not the good one in the eyes of the contemporary circus people, and the other way around. So I think circus is one thing, and there are, like in dance or in the music, there are different styles of it, and no one can say this is the good style or an old style or a new style. Maybe there is a bit old and new, you can, or traditional and new, you can divide it in these two parts. But for me, I also like traditional circuses, absolutely. But for me, what fascinates me at contemporary circus is that I know a lot of young artists because of my work for the festival. I know a lot of young artists that really they have a lot of messages that they bring on stage with their performances. They think a lot about the people, um, their lives, and everything. So I think this is a very interesting part of today's young circus. Let's name it young
Mm,
circus, so that people they perform with all their souls on stage. That's a very, for me, a big difference between, let's say, the traditional circus and the new contemporary circus, that There is always more than just a performance on stage. It can be a message. It can be someone's life that is transported in an acrobatic way on stage. It can be a new combination of performing arts like dance and circus or music or comedy, or it's always more than just, let's say, just juggling on stage. To just take juggling as an example, I think it's like a revolution a bit, that is brought from young artists that really have to say something. They want to say something, and they don't just want to do acrobatics on stage. It's always more behind. And this is something I think that also the audience feels when they watch it.
Yeah.
I hope you could
You get
understand what I
600.
mean. It's yeah,
No, I understand what you mean. I have to be honest, I'm a little skeptical of it because I wonder if that, like, if that is a product of youth or if it's a product of contemporary circus. Because one of my questions is, why is there an age
yeah,
cutoff? Because I think artists of all ages in the contemporary, and I will say some people in the traditional
absolutely,
market as well,
absolutely,
have these messages and maybe
yeah,
have a chance because they're a little older to
yeah,
refine the messages
yeah, yeah,
even more. So what is it about the
yeah,
youth that
yeah.
like so
So
compels you? Yeah,
if you understood it like that, this is wrong. I don't want it to say that it's only the young people that do that. Of course,
sure.
there is
Yeah.
contemporary circus, nouveau cirque, also done by other older artists. Of course, it's just I got to know the young ones, a lot of young ones
Mm.
that just came out from schools. I think that the age cut is because our mission is, so the festival's mission is especially to give young artists a platform, because we think that they need the platforms to get onto the market, to start a network, to get to know other people, to get to know producers, directors, and bookers and agents. So that's just the mission of the festival, to and it's called Youngstage. So some people ask me, why is 27 still so young? Yes, in circus it is, because first you have to do your education, and then you start maybe to do your own style and everything. So you need a bit time to get on the point
Interesting.
to really be there where you want to be with your contemporary, with your style. So that's the
Yeah.
only,
Yeah.
it's the only
Okay.
reason why we have the age cutoff. We don't want to say that people that are older than 27 are not that good or not that contemporary, but it's our mission to support the young ones that just came out from schools, or young new disciplines made by young people. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you have a how do I say this? Like the other way age cutoff? Like,
Yeah.
is there a
A
like you're
minimum
too young
age,
for the
like,
festival?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there we go. Yeah, thank
It's,
you.
yeah, actually, we don't have it officially, but
Okay.
for us, it's, yeah. I think the youngest that we had was 16. And we say
Mm.
it's a festival for young professionals. So, yeah, we can discuss about it. If someone that is 12 is already professionally working in the field, or is it just a teenager that is very good in what he does?
This is a really interesting distinction. And then if it is a 12-year-old who's working
Yeah.
professionally in the
No,
field,
I think,
do they need
yeah,
the
yeah,
platform?
yeah,
You know? Like, do they need to be seen by the market? Because clearly if they're already
yeah.
working,
I
what's the
mean,
function of a festival
most
for
of the
them?
artists that perform at the festivals are already working in somehow. But yeah, speaking of the young ones or the very young ones, we don't, I think it's always a bit risky also with the kids that are too young, because are they sure that this is your dream? Is this your profession? Or did someone tell them that they should do so? So I think it's better for us is 16, or better 17, 18. We're happy if they have that at this age.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get 600 applicants every year from 60 countries. It's a very large pool of applicants. How do you decide who is going to be on stage every year? It must be really
It's
hard
hard.
and must take a lot of time.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time. So actually we have, I have to a little correction. So it's usually
Mhm.
600 artists that apply, but it's almost 400 acts that apply. So it's a bit less,
Okay.
but it's still a
I
lot.
mean,
It's still a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, we have an online registration process. So everyone can apply with our online form, always in October. And if someone sends in his application, it arrives in a database. And we are a team, and we watch, every team member from the selection team watches all the videos, and we do kind of a pre-deliberation. Then we have a point system, and then when everything is done, everyone by himself, then we meet for a weekend and we watch those videos that have the most points. So it's a very good, simple system.
And in that first layer,
Yeah.
that first deliberation, are there things that it's just very clear from the get-go you can watch like 10 seconds and be like, okay, this isn't right for a festival? Or do you really have to give it the whole time for every single
So
act? Like,
it
how do you,
depends. Sometimes, I
yeah,
mean, we are really used to watch videos after those years.
I
So,
bet. Yeah.
but usually or sometimes I know it after a few seconds. But it can
Mhm.
be because of the music, because of the lights, because of anything, because of any movement or something surprising that comes up in the video, or then nothing happens for 2 minutes. Then we wait and wait and wait and nothing happens. So then you also know, well, it's maybe a bit difficult.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's sometimes you
Okay.
really know it from after 10 seconds. Sometimes you really need to watch the whole thing again and again to really see what they do. And then it's very interesting what happens also with the feeling that you get when you watch it. And of course, we
Mm.
see from the beginning if the artistic level is high enough. And for me, it's a bit difficult to judge about jugglers because I can't juggle at all. So I'm happy because we
Yeah.
also have two members that are jugglers in the team. So they can maybe better judge about jugglers. I'm better in acrobatics. So we are really a big team that with different backgrounds. And this leads to a very good result usually. And of course, we also know this act fits perfectly to the style of the festival because over the years we also know the style that we would like to present.
What is the young stage style?
Hmm.
What is that? What does that mean?
No, I think so. For us, it's very important that first of all the artistic level is really high. This is very important. So all the disciplines, all the genres, it's very important. But then we like performances that evoke something. It could be that are very poetic and you get goosebumps from it, or it's a
Mm.
very beautiful music that evokes some certain feelings, or something, a very interesting combination of new a new discipline that combines maybe two disciplines that have never been combined before, or a combination with comedy. Or it's really, I think it should always have a contemporary approach, but it can't be defined 100% because it's still a wide range. Yeah, it's very difficult to explain. It's very difficult to
Yeah,
explain,
I can
actually. I
imagine.
just realized. But yeah, different styles, different, but always from a contemporary or new or innovative aspect. And a very important aspect is also for us, we would like to present acts that, in our opinions, have the chance to get work on the market. That's very
Mm.
important. Um,
Interesting.
yeah. because we have a
Yeah.
lot of bookers and directors and show producers that come, and it's important that they find new talents for their shows. Yeah.
Right. Right. Oh, hey there. I just wanted to interrupt this interview real quick to just say one real quick little thing about myself, which is that I am not only the host of the Artist Athlete podcast. No, no, no. She is a business woman, and I run a whole company dedicated to the education and inspiration of circus artists. That goes from people who are just doing it weekend warriors as a hobbyist, recreationally, or if you're a professional, you've put in the hours and you need more resources, go to theartistathlete.com. There are a ton of recorded workshops, online manuals, and ebooks, everything you could possibly need from me and from some guests on this show about everything from nutrition to training your shoulders to really specific aerial moves that you need to master. Again, theartistathlete.com. And just because you went there from listening to this podcast, use code PODCAST and get 15% off your entire purchase. That's right, theartistathlete.com. Use code PODCAST at checkout for 15% off your entire purchase. And have a great day. Back to the episode. I got a question through Instagram. I threw up a little thing that said, I'm interviewing the artistic director of
Okay.
Youngstage. Do you guys have any questions? And I got a really interesting one, kind of along these lines. Do you take into account, because it is an international festival, do you try to get a wide selection from different countries? And then do you ever get submissions from countries where you're like, this person clearly has a lot of talent, but clearly also doesn't have the funding or artistic support that they would have gotten had they gone to the National Circus School in Montreal, for example, or, Kodak or somewhere like this. And like, how do you account for those kinds of applicants?
For sure, we also keep an eye on the variety of countries, but it's not the first thing for us or the most important thing. So usually we don't pay attention on that when we do the selection. And then when we see the result, we just count the countries and have a look at the variety of countries. But it's not the most important thing. Usually it happens. It just happens. And it can be 8 countries or 15 countries represented. For us, the other things that I just explained, like with the performances, is more important for us. And the second question, yes, we have really applications from all over the world. For us, it doesn't matter where someone comes from. If the artistic level and the performance, the story and everything that they tell is fits to the festival, then they get selected. But of course, we see that we have a lot of participants that graduated from, let's say, 5 to 10 schools that are well known.
Yes, of course. And those acts, obviously can go to market. They can, they're designed that way.
Exactly.
But it is interesting to think about, the ones that don't come from those, and how do you adjust for that?
Absolutely. So for us, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
We
sure.
also had some self-made artists coming from a country that, is not so well known for the circus, and it worked also.
I kind of interrupted your selection process.
Oh,
And
no.
probably would have answered this question anyway. But do you also take into account discipline? Obviously,
Yes, of course.
it's a circus festival. You can't have 17 jugglers on stage.
We could do an aerial festival.
I don't doubt it.
That's actually a big issue. It's good to talk about that. There are so many aerials, so many also applications from artists that do aerials, any kind of aerials, and they have good quality acts. So it's with aerials we never have any problems. But where are the other disciplines? Of course, there are also a lot of jugglers, maybe a lot of hula hoopers, and maybe handstand, hand to hand. No, not so much, so many. But the disciplines that there are so many disciplines that are super interesting, but they're not on the market, or they're not done by young artists.
Like what?
Like, let's say, teeterboard. Of course, there are teeterboarders, but very few. Then Russian bar, ladder, magic. Very interesting circus disciplines, but nobody does them. So I know that not only for our festival, also for other festivals, for other show productions, it's a bit difficult to find those other disciplines.
It makes sense. I mean, I've had this discussion with
Yeah, yeah,
other people who've come on the show about, how do you develop a Russian bar act that takes 3 people, you have to pay
absolutely.
them differently, there's so
Yeah,
many kind of
yeah,
barriers to it, but it makes a lot
yeah.
of sense.
But
That's super
also,
interesting.
maybe another aspect, if you do an aerial act, you should always have another option, because speaking about corporate events that we have spoken before,
Mhm.
it's always super complicated to do aerials at an event. Do something else that can easily be done on the floor. Then you get more jobs. It's just that easy. It's about money.
Yeah,
It's about rigging. It's about everything.
sure.
So yeah, that's my advice for all the aerial artists. Yeah, keep an eye
I
open
think that's
for another option.
all right, so going back to the process, you guys cast a wide net and then you, have your point system and then you sit down together. So you're like kind of narrowing down the applicant pool.
Yes.
What's the process after that? After you've got kind of made your first cut, if you will?
So yeah, after a weekend, when we meet with the selection team, we always have a result of 14
Mhm.
acts, because we usually take between 13 and 15 acts, usually 14. And then we invite them officially to the festival
Yeah.
and wait for the answer. And if it's a yes, sometimes if it's also a no, because they got another job in the same time period, and then we start with the organization, and everything with travel organization, with we send them some questionnaires about them, about their persons, about their lives, about their aims, about their dreams, about their backgrounds. So because we need to know as much as possible to also be able then to put together the show, because in the show we also, for us it's important that we can present not only the performers but also the persons behind the performers. So we
Mm.
have some interviews on stage, some backstage videos that are recorded where they introduce themselves. And so just that for us, it's important that the people get to know them also as human beings, young human beings with dreams, with a life in the background and everything. So it's not just the performances for us.
And how do you because I could see very easily how a festival, and there are festivals like this that is just like act, 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 act. You watch the acts and you're amazed because they're amazing acts. Is that what Young Stage is? I haven't been
Yeah,
yet, so I don't know. Or do you really try to like create a show concept? It sounds like you
yeah, yeah.
do.
We
Yeah,
do. So for us, it's very important that also for people, so the audience,
right.
that's a really nice show experience as a whole. Yeah, evening show. So and on the other hand, it's also important for us that the artists don't feel the competition too much. So for us, it's super
Mm.
important that we all grow and we get together as a group. We create always an opening choreography with all the artists, which actually needs a bit of time during the rehearsal days. But it's very important, because like that, they have to work together as a group. They are not
Mhm.
in competition. They are together as a group. They open the show all together. And this creates a very good feeling. It's always, yeah, there is a family feeling coming up during the week. This is super important. And like, yeah, we also get very positive feedbacks about that from the artists, that
Yeah.
because of course we do a competition, but for us, yeah, the competition is also there, but it's, first of all, it should be just a nice festival experience, and the competition aspect should be a bit in the background for them.
I will say I love that emphasis of the collaboration and of the creation. It's a very, not to like be too dichotomous again, but like very European outlook on circus, to not emphasize the competitive aspect.
Exactly.
Whereas I feel like, but there, it is a competition. And can you explain? a little bit about how that side of it works, what the scoring is like, what the prizes are, those kinds of
Yes. So
elements.
the competition is actually happening on the last 2 days of the festival, always on Monday and Tuesday. So on Monday, we have the professional jury on site. It consists of experts from Switzerland and abroad with different backgrounds and experiences. For us, it's really important that they're real experts. So that, yeah.
How do you find what's a real expert for
Yeah,
you?
that they work as a
Not a fake expert.
circus directors, or they work as artistic directors in a school, or in a production company, or in a circus, or they work as talent scouts, or they're artists with a lot of experience. I like to put together a jury that has different backgrounds.
Hmm.
That's so that a really nice discussion is happening. Yeah.
Ah. And then how are the prizes given out? How do you decide who wins? What does that look like?
So yeah, so it's just a jury that decides about the main prizes. We have three main prizes: gold, silver, and bronze. And it's so the decisions are made by a point system that they have, but it's not just about points. They also, for me, it's very important. Of course, the points is a base that you need to have for the discussion that is happening then. So then they discuss their different opinions and come to a decision late at night on Monday.
Yes.
Then we have also a lot of producers or circus directors coming, and they also give directly engagements, so jobs, to some of the artists. And there are also special prizes like from Cirque du Soleil, from Circus Monti, from Circus Roncalli, from Europa Park, from dinner shows in Switzerland. And they, of course, they can choose their winners. And
Hmm.
they can choose. And then on Tuesday, we have a normal show running. And then directly after the show, in the final of the show, or after the final, we have the awarding of the prizes on stage.
Yeah, I love this about these kinds of circus festivals too, where it's like, yes, you can win like gold, silver, bronze, or whatever, but also you cannot win any of that and still get work for the next 2 years, which is wonderful, especially for young artists.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. And this is working very, very well, because we also have a lot of circus people coming that are not giving any prize, maybe, but they can do really nice network at the festival, because we also offer the professional events called
Hmm.
Professional Session, which is organized as a panel discussion where we discuss different topics from the circus world, and followed by a circus speed dating that we invented a few years ago. It's working like a real speed dating, where artists and professionals can meet in a super easy way and exchange business cards. So the network aspect is very important for us also.
How much of your year, your funding, your time is the Youngstage Festival? And then what else occupies your year? I'm just thinking about people who want to go into the events management or festival management or these kinds of
Yeah.
aspects of circus and that career path.
So at the moment, it changed over the years, of course. A few
Uh,
years ago, I did a lot of other stuff, other events, other shows. It was like maybe 50-50, 50 young stage, 50% other events and shows. But in the meantime, actually, I do almost nothing else than the festival.
wow.
And it's not just me. I mean, it's not just me organizing
Right.
the festival. We are a team of 6 people that work all year long for the festival. So with the size it got over the years, it's a long process.
That's incredible. And what's the funding body for this look like? Is it the Swiss government? I mean, clearly you don't earn only through ticket
No, no,
sales,
no.
right? Like, yeah.
It's approximately a third over tickets, a third over fundraising, like foundations. And in Switzerland, it's
Okay.
also the Swiss lottery that gives money for cultural events.
Cool.
And then we have also corporate sponsors. A hotel partner, very important, where all the artists and the crew can sleep. So yeah, this is a very big part of my work.
Oh, interesting. Say more.
Everyone who would like to start organizing a festival has to know that that this part is the biggest part of the work. The fun part is the other part.
But finding all the money, that's,
Finding all the money and managing all the money and all the administrative work behind is a very big part of event management.
And how did you learn that part of it? Did you take classes? Did you just kind of mess up and then learn from your mistakes?
I messed up.
Oh, yeah.
In the
Okay.
first year, I messed everything up. Yeah, everything. I did every mistake one can make. Learning by doing, step by step, step by step. It's good to make mistakes because you learn.
Sure.
It's the best way to learn how to do it better. So it was a hard way.
Yeah.
But I would not like to start again, but I'm happy, where we are now.
Brilliant. Kind of going off of that, one of the questions I ask at the end of every interview is, what advice would you give to yourself at the beginning of your career? Going off of what you just said, like, what are the mistakes you feel like you made that you could tell other people not to make?
I think the best advice is, don't be afraid. Everything is possible. If you want to do something, you can do it. Maybe it needs time, but believe in it and do step by step and talk about it with all the people that you can. Do lectures, participate in panel discussions, write a lot, talk with all the people, show up at other events, and to get a very important network. And don't be shy. Just do it. You will learn by doing it.
Yeah. That's great advice. Just go for it. You don't have to know everything before you start. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
Brilliant.
not.
For applicants of the festival, if they want to get a little notice, is there anything that helps? Can they send the judges chocolate? Can they,
No, doesn't
no
help
bribes
at all. No, I mean, first of all, I have to say, it's the selection process is made by our team.
Okay.
So, and then the jury on the festival is a completely different group.
Great.
Our team is not involved at all in any jury decisions. I'm super happy always that I don't have to take these decisions.
I bet.
And you can try to send them chocolate. I don't know if it happened before, but why not? Would be interesting what happens. No, just joking. I don't think that it works. Just apply and try it. Try it. I can't promise because we can take 14 acts out of almost 400. It's really hard, but a lot of others did it. And
sure. And do you recommend if someone doesn't get in that they apply the next year? Do you send
yes,
feedback?
Of course.
Like
please.
Yeah, okay.
There are so many reasons that lead to a decision in the end. So, and also if it's a no for this year, it can be a yes for next year or the year after. So
sure.
Always.
That's great.
Always.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Nadja, thank you so much for this interview. You've been so helpful. I'm sure I think part of what I love doing in this podcast is these things like festivals or event management, like you're saying, or casting that are kind of shrouded in mystery for a lot of artists, especially if they haven't gone to a school or know the network.
Yeah.
This really helps a lot of artists and enlightens them to the little bit behind the scenes process so they can do better and we can all have a stronger community. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening, friends, fans, and foes. I'll talk at you next week. In the meantime, go to patreon.com/theartistathlete and show some love, send some support, just like these fine Patreons that you're about to hear the voices of right now. The Artist Athlete podcast is supported solely by donations from people like you. Here's what some of those people have to say.
Hi, my name is Noah and I do hand balancing. Hi, my name is Woody and I do Leo. Thank you for listening to the Artist Athlete podcast.
Hi everyone, I'm Dominique, a ground acrobat, trapeze artist, and coach, currently bringing circus to the extremely cold but very beautiful Northern Ontario, Canada. Circus has changed my life, and I'm so grateful to everyone in this community. Find me on Instagram at DomUpsideDown or my website, domupsidedown.com.
Aloha! My name is Beth Russell, and I live on the beautiful island of Maui, Hawaii. I am an aerial artist and movement instructor specializing in chakra yoga to keep me balanced and grounded. I play with silks, trapeze, lyra, rope, acro, aerial yoga and dance, slacklining, pole, bungee, and climbing. Really anything that goes up and allows me to explore 3D space. You can find my dedicated aerial page on Instagram at Maui Aerialist. If you find yourself coming to Maui, let's play.
Hey there, friends, fans, and enemies. This is Chris Alston, Patreon of the Artist Athlete Podcast, straps artist and lyra performer and acrobat out of Greenville, South Carolina. So if you're ever passing through, make sure to stop in and see me and my friends. We have a wonderful space, and we'd love to see you.
Hi, my name is Erica Lee. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm an aerialist. I teach performing arts to elementary school during the day and do pole and swing and rope by night. I really, really like the Artist Athlete podcast because it gives me a lot of circus goals to look forward to. It gives me a lot of insight on what's going on around the world in circus, and that's why I'm Patreon.
Hello all. Thank you for tuning in to the Artist Athlete podcast. I am Opal Schwartz from Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you're ever in the cities, feel free to stop by the Aviary Minneapolis. It's a great time. With that, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week, and goodbye.
Hey there, artists and athletes. This is Andy Smith, owner and artistic director at Saltaire Circus School in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. And I want to thank you for contributing to the Artist Athlete podcast. If you ever find yourself down in Florida, come check us out. Whether you're an artist, athlete, or someone ordinary just looking to be extraordinary, we got a place for you.